And we are starting with some breaking input coming in. The Kerala High Court has now ordered Sister Lucy to vacate the convent. The High Court says it will provide protection to her only outside the convent. This is the latest that we are receiving from the Kerala High Court. Let me go across to my colleague Ashwin, who's also joining us over the phone line. Yes, Ashwin, over to you. Please share more of what the court has to say.
So the court has made has proclaimed the order that Sister Lucy cannot continue to stay in the convent. She will only be given protection outside of the court. Clearly stated that now that the protection by the court is not for staying in the convent, but it is a protection to life. So that protection to life will be given anywhere outside of the convent, and that the court has also directed Sister Lucy to tell her where she will be staying so that protection can be given. Now, the court has clearly told her that she has to move, that she cannot do any kind of rebellion inside the convent and stay there. So it is Sister Lucy pleaded that she should not be thrown out to the street, as she has been a nun for 39 years and she has nowhere to go. But that has not been taken. The court has again stated that the nature of the writ petition, which was filed 2 years ago, and what is there today, the situation has changed, and that cannot be considered, and that she has to move out of the convent for the government to give her protection to life. So essentially, this is what has been made. Although Sister Lucy, again, she was representing herself. She has conveyed that there is a civil case which has been filed. Until the order from the civil case is completed, till then she asked permission to stay in the convent. That was denied by the Kerala High Court, and court has directed to has directed her to move out of the convent where she's staying, and that they will give protection outside of the convent. So it's a very big breaking news and a big setback for Sister Lucy. Back to you.
In fact, Ashwin, stay with us. If we talk about this entire case as well, Sister Lucy's case has been a long battle for her, and now she's also pleaded in front of the court, stating that to not throw her out to the streets. And the court also mentioning in clear words that they will only provide protection only outside of the convent. If you can help us understand the plea that was put forward by Sister Lucy, and also what other options does she have now? In fact, before that, Ashwin, stay with us. We are also joined by George Joseph, the Secretary of the Kerala Catholic Reform Movement, on the phone line. So thank you so much for joining us here on Republic. The latest that we are picking up from the Kerala High Court is that the court has ordered Sister Lucy to vacate the convent, and the High Court says that it will only provide protection to her only outside the convent.
I think she has been denied of justice, because the congregation, when the congregation adopted these nuns into convents, they have undertaken an agreement that they will protect till to the death of that person. Then how can they throw out at the middle age? So it is injustice. She has to approach higher court, apex court for justice, I think.
Right. In fact, if you can also speak more about the case, Mr. George Joseph, as far as so far we have been here at Republic also fighting for justice for Sister Lucy, and we have what more options do you think she has now? Now the court has stated that she will have to certainly vacate the convent, and also the protection to her will only be provided outside the convent.
Sorry, I am not aware of the judgment. After getting the copy of the judgment, we can decide if it has an immediate effect or there will be a time span to implement. We have to look into it. But she has to go for justice, because she has been working for the congregation for the last more than 40 years. So she has some right at her congregation, because she worked for that congregation. She spent young years at the convent. She has paid much money to the congregation. As per the doctrine of the church, she is married to Jesus, the Lord. When a marriage breaks up, there is some laws here to compensate or to remedy that grievance. It is not at all done in this issue. So there are so many issues. Domestic Violence Act should be implemented in this case. Not only to the Lucy issue, but to the whole congregation who maintain nuns at their convent. Some rules, some regulations should be there. And she has to go for that to the higher court and plead for it.
Right. All right. In fact, we have George Joseph on the phone line with us, who's part of the Catholic Reform Movement. Mr. George, another parting question before we let you go. What will be, do you think, the next step for Sister Lucy? Do you think that the congregations like yourself can come forward and help her out? Because remember, in the court as well, she did mention and pleaded in front of the court that she does not want to be thrown out on the streets.
She should not be thrown into the streets. She has to fight for justice, not only for her, but her fellow sisters also, fellow nuns also. If it prevails in the society, such a torture prevails in the society, it should be checked. It should be restricted, because they live